Colton has just been great at kind of working with us to kind of be flexible and adaptive to the video that we've shot and how we've been able to work with those that have been interviewed to create something that will be just very key for the River Park, sharing the story, sharing good news through our social media, sharing it through the internal partners that we're working with as part of the project. And it's just been really nice working with Runter Media.
I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk to you, and hopefully I'm not going to look terrible. Am I in focus and can you hear me? That is the question. Hello my friends, I hope you're well. I hope you're having a good day or evening or night wherever you are. Today we're back in Salisbury filming the last 2 interviews I've just wrapped for the environmental agency in the River Park project. This project started, when did this project start? Back in January, I believe. And it's funny, me and the client were joking most of the day because the first 2 days that we filmed this, which the majority of the footage, it was freezing cold. And today is 20-something degrees, and just the contrast is going to be interesting. And that's one of the challenges I think you have when doing these interviews across extended period of time. But the project we got to hear, thankfully, from Hayley herself, who was my main contact at the environmental agency. I was kind enough to have an introduction from Claire, who I got to meet again today as well, which was really, really nice to catch up with her. And this came from those who've been following the channel for a while will know, back in November last year, October-November last year, I time-lapsed the Fred's art installation on the Coach Park here in Salisbury, and that film went down really, really well. Claire really, really liked it, and obviously she was connected with the team here at the River Park project, and the project was coming towards the end in regards to its construction. So I thought it was a good opportunity to potentially reach out and see what we could do to help to showcase their story, to showcase the community engagement, to showcase what they were looking for in that respect. So I think, and for those who may be watching this, I think something which you can consider or think of is, how are you, we're looking at a time, and I'll be very honest, the time of filming anyway, the world has been put into a bit of an interesting economic challenge that will either be good or bad depending on what the future holds in regards to Trump's tariffs. But there's a lot going on in the world, and I think it's also an example of there's a lot always going on in the world. And I think as a business owner you need to consider, or you need to be in a position where you can constantly adapt and sort of see how you're going to push forward. And for me, after many years of doing networking and thinking about marketing and etc., one of the main things I keep coming back to is creating content like this, but also creating content that highlights the love or the passion you have for filmmaking, but also the love and the passion you maybe have for your local area and your local community, and being an integral part of that, and positioning your business as an integral part of that. And I think for me it's one of those things where, like for example, my community efforts of showcasing what city council have going on in civic events and etc., and doing what I can to showcase the art scene, and also again, like, as my love for wildlife took hold last year and it continues to be part of what I'm doing, I think it's one of these natural coincidences or natural things that I did work a year ago nearly to the day, especially with the wildlife stuff, or multiple years ago, that now was a deciding factor in picking up what has been, I'll be very honest with you, a very lucrative client in that respect. So and also I think they're getting huge amounts of value from what we're doing with them. As Hayley said in her testimonial that I'll leave on the end of this video, the initial scope of the project was, let's create one film, highlight specifically what's going on and what the River Park project was, and then it sort of came as we got into the second day of interviews, and we were finding out actually we've got like 2 hours here, and something which was really nice to hear was the flexibility that I offer. I mean, for me, I think you need to ask yourself, what's the longer term kind of cost basis? I could have been very corporate with it. I could have been like, look, we only paid for 5 interviews on the first quote, and then then sort of shut down and stopped. But what I saw it as was actually we've got an opportunity here to potentially leverage the demand I think they were also surprised to have as well, and be in a position where they were, I guess in some ways shocked, but also happily shocked, to showcase what they were doing and the amount of people who wanted to be involved and wanted to talk on camera about the project. So we've ended up upselling them to a set of small films, and also weaved in a nature people kind of environment film as well. So and I think this kind of comes from a hunch in 2024 when I was like clearly not in a good place business wise, and I've talked about this in previous content, but I've just done my tax return, or prepped for my tax return at the time of filming, and we turned over less than I wanted to, and that's just because of a multitude of reasons: change in market, not necessarily refocus on marketing, etc. Launch a social media show that did really well. Love for Wildlife, that really happened and that's taken off quite well as well. People seem to be really enjoying that content, and of course then doubling down on what we're doing in that respect, as well as I said, those community events, those community engagements, and being seen. It was lovely to hear from others that are close to me and running into people in town, and constantly hearing from people in Salisbury's community about the work I'm doing, and it really making an impact and highlighting what Salisbury has to offer from a tourism point of view. And with the festival coming up as well, hopefully we'll be able to continue that. But I just wanted to sort of share a little bit more about this project. I'll link down below, and I'll link to a video I did at the end of the second day of filming, talking a little bit more about the gear I was using and sort of what's going on there for those who may be interested. But I'll cut into Hayley's interview as well for those who may be interested in potentially working with us, and hearing from her specifically on what does actually working with us sound like and look like in that respect.
Hi, I'm Hayley Hills. I work for the Environment Agency as an engagement officer, and I've been working with Brunton Media to produce a video for the Salisbury River Park. So as part of the Salisbury River Park project, we've been really keen to work with local people in and around the river, teaching them more about the river. The community engagement has been really important as part of the process of the project. And so when Claire from Studio Response introduced us to Brunton Media as part of kind of a local videographer to kind of share the story of the river park, it was just we just kind of jumped on board really, and was like, that's exactly what we want, someone local to the area who knows Salisbury, who's done a lot of work in Salisbury, and who will kind of share this Salisbury River Park story with us. Yeah, so we have been really amazed by Colton at Brunton Media. He's just been so flexible at working with us to produce something that is kind of going to work for the River Park project. At the start of the project, we kind of had one vision of where we wanted to see a kind of a video piece go, and as we've kind of worked with the participants of the River Park video, it's kind of clear that actually things have had to adapt and change, and we have been interested in creating kind of multiple facets to a video, and Colton has just been great at kind of working with us to kind of be flexible and adaptive to the video that we've shot, and how we've been able to work with those that have been interviewed to create something that will be just very key for the River Park, sharing the story, sharing good news through our social media, sharing it through the internal partners that we're working with as part of the project. And it's just been really nice working with Brunton Media to see how they have kind of fed into this this story, and I can't wait to see the end product really. So I think the capture of video and the capture of image just tells 1,000 words, and actually having a videography of the story is just a really great way of just showing something that you can't capture in some of the traditional media and traditional comms for a project. So actually we were really keen to get it captured on video. It becomes part of the historic kind of archive of a community of the area, and just capturing the many voices that have been part of the Salisbury River Park, whether they have been community input or the contractors or the Environment Agency. It's just been really good to kind of bring that all together in a video, and I just don't think that can be captured in the same way through a press release or a small kind of snapshot of social media.
Thank you so much for watching, and if you did enjoy this video and you'd like to hear more and see more like it, then yeah, I'll be back very soon with some new content, and make sure to leave this video with a like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of YouTube fun. And if you are interested in us helping up what you're doing with comms with video this year, then do let me know. I'd love to have a chat with you. Thank you ever so much for coming back and joining me, and I'll see you very, very soon.